Morning, sir. How are you?
How are you?
Good to see you.
Right on the wall, man. Morning.
Hey everybody, Alex Newman again from the Red Pill Expo here on Jekyll Island, and we are joined right now with an amazing lady. I've had the opportunity to work with her and meet with her many times in the past. Her name is Elaine Williman, and she just released a book a couple months ago called American Tribal Tyranny. She actually has Cherokee roots, and her husband is a direct descendant of Sacagawea, and she's really passionate about these policy issues having to do with tribal governments and things like that. And she, I think, has been at the forefront of exposing some of the abuses in this area, abuses against Indians in terms of having the government come in and steal their children, and abuses against non-Indians who are being made victims of these tribal governments. Elaine, thank you so much for being with us.
Oh, thank you, Alex. And I might mention that this morning I met Ray Moore, your colleague in education.
Yes, we had him here. Actually, I think he was our most recent interview. So.
Oh. Well, yeah, the work you folks are doing, New American is doing, and the educational work you're doing is so excellent. I want to acknowledge that too. He mentioned a website that you guys...
Yeah, the publicschoolexit.com.
Public School Exit, yes. I just want to endorse that because the education of our children is our future, of course.
Yeah,
anyway,
thank you, Elaine.
I'm happy to be here. This Red Pill Expo is so phenomenal. The knowledge content, the bodies in this building, and the camaraderie is so uplifting, really uplifting, because many of us are out there in our little home communities, and we see the mud on mainstream media, and it's lovely to come in and get connected with folks all over the country.
It really is
it's
nice.
It's just been awesome.
It's like a little island of sanity amidst a growing sea of lunacy.
It is.
So it's so nice to have you here, Elaine. Thank you very much for coming. I know you've been to a lot of these Red Pill Expos. Tell us a little bit about your book. Why did you write it? What is it about?
Well, this book is my third book, and I hadn't planned to write a third book, but I caught a CNN little sound bite that just enraged me, Alex, and I thought, I've got to write another book, and it was a CNN clip on Fox News.
Oh, wow.
Fox News put it on there because they were upset with it too, and that was a couple of years ago. The Navajo chairman of the Navajo tribe was on CNN, and my first thought is CNN is in all the airports all over the world, and a big shoulder shot of an impressive-looking fellow, the chief of the Navajo tribe, and he is saying, and this is almost verbatim, but I'm paraphrasing, all of America is Indian country. All of its soils, all of its waters, all of its plants are Indian country, and every non-Indian is a guest. And I just flamed up. I thought, that statement completely renders the United States government and American citizens and everything going good in this country that supports him and the Navajo tribe irrelevant. We don't matter. I mean, it was just a bogus statement, but what really bothered me was it was on CNN.
The fakest of all the fake news. Yeah, I catch it every once in a while at the airport. I'm like, stop. It's horrible.
I know, but it's all of, and so the rest of the world hears that garbage and doesn't know different. And so I thought, I got to write another book because I got to let them know that it's different. It's very different.
Yeah.
So, and I took a different approach with this. The earlier books that I wrote were much more politically polite. It was difficult, controversial subjects, and so I was trying to spoon feed the information and education as politely as I could. But I was so angry with that statement on CNN that I thought, by golly, I'm going direct. I'm going to be blunt. I'm going to be simple. I'm going to keep it clean, but it's going to be very direct. And so I summarized where this Indian policy came from, where it's going, what the effect is, and then some possible solutions in the epilogue at the end.
And so you have this radical idea, Elaine, that the government ought to treat all people the same, regardless of their supposed race. And so for that, you apparently are a bad person. How dare we talk about equality? So in the last minute we have left or so, tell us a little bit about this radical idea that race shouldn't matter when it comes to government policy.
Well, it should not. We're so big on being unified again, but all the federal and state programs are ethnicity based. And the Census Bureau is the biggest culprit. So then we get all these little ethnicities, that boxes marked in the Census Bureau, and that goes into the federal agencies, and all of a sudden they're budgeting out money for this race and this race and this race. My feeling is we should be no longer hyphenated Americans by any means for any reason. We're Americans.
Amen.
We're Americans. And as Americans, if we have needs as a person or as a family, then as American citizens, there should be one criteria and that would be two criteria. We're American citizens, and you base your needs on annual household income. So if you have a family of 4 and a household of 4, and you're American citizens, and you really have needs, and you fall below some poverty threshold, then you qualify for services. It would no longer matter what color you are, what ethnicity, what your sexual preference is. Nothing, religion, nothing else would matter other than citizenship and annual household income. To just give a hand up, not a forever handout, but a hand up, and we would do away with all federal and state programs that are ethnic based. Do you know how that would downsize the federal and state governments?
Wouldn't that be nice?
What
a radical you are, Elaine. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that sounds just
but
wild.
But it's so simple and so fair.
Yeah.
Because we're all Americans, and we should be treated equally. And that's kind of where I'm going by raising awareness on this issue.
Yeah, guys, so the book is American Tribal Tyranny, how federal Indian policy secretly monies up elected officials, forcing American taxpayers to fund all annual operating needs of the Bureau of Indian Affairs and 574 wealthy tribal governments. You can get this on Amazon, right?
Yeah, on
so you
all
can
the
get
book
this
websites.
in a lot of places. Guys, I have not read this one yet, but I've read some of Elaine's previous books. They are phenomenal. She knows what she's talking about. That is, of course, why the Soviet Poverty Law Center and some of these attack her. It's just ridiculous. So, Elaine, thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for the work that you do. Folks, check out Elaine. She is just an awesome lady. She knows what she's talking about in these fields. I'm Alex Newman. You're watching the live feed from the Red Pill Expo. It's a pleasure to be with you. Stay tuned. We've got a whole lot more coming from Jekyll Island. We look forward to talking to you soon. Thanks again.